the glory remains. The cockerel stands brave on the crest. North London pride, this ain't no jest. From lane to the new shining ground, echo chants where the legends are found. Heroes carved in the heart of time, we march on through grit and grime. Oh Tottenham, Tottenham till I die. Raise the banner, let it fly. Through the rain, through the fire, this is my club, my only desire. Oh Tottenham, Tottenham till I die. Raise the banner, let it fly. Through the rain, through the fire, this is my club, my only desire. Echoes of King and Greaves in the air. Every goal, the sound declares. Heartbeats pound like a drummer's song, marching forward fierce and strong. We're the ones who rise in the clash, numbers running in a white shirt dash. History burns in the roaring crowd, every game we scream it loud. Oh Tottenham, Tottenham till I die. Raise the banner, let it fly. Through the rain, through the fire, this is my club, my only desire.
All right, people, welcome back to the channel. It's Tottenham Hotspur versus Villa, your pre-match build-up, and once again, Spurs fans are asking that famous question. Which version of Tottenham are we getting tomorrow? Are we getting the champagne football we had under so many managers during the years, or are we getting Frank ball that bores us to tears? Aston Villa will rock up today, full of confidence, flying high and well organised. Basically, everything Spurs fans wish we were, but we're not. But this is Tottenham. Logic does not apply. So, Spock, if you're looking to join the team, go back to the Enterprise. You're not welcome. We could lose to anyone and somehow beat anyone. So grab your snacks, grab your stress ball, cancel your plans for tonight and the big match tomorrow. And because it's Spurs, and absolutely anything can happen. Well, good evening. Welcome to THFC 2 We Die, home at Tottenham, past, present, and an exciting future under Rain as he tries to take Daniel Levy to court over his saying about his glasses. But Rain, how are you this evening, sir?
Very, very good, Dermot. It feels like we only played yesterday.
It does.
Really does.
It does.
It's coming around really quick. So really looking forward to the game yesterday. Game tomorrow. I'm not going. I only go to Premier League home games. I spend enough money on Tottenham Hotspur as it is, so I don't spend any more money than I spend on my season ticket, and obviously going to those games. So I'll be watching this. I'll be watching this from home on my big screen TV, nice and warm, and hopefully that means that we'll get a nice home win without me in the stadium.
Yeah. Well, don't worry. Rain will be coming on post before the match and halftime, and then full time after whistle as well. We're going to run it. Joining us, of course, Steve, we're going to get to in a minute, but somebody's making their debut on the channel. Of course, it's James. I know him very well from JYS Football over there with Jess and Stacey and the gang. And he also runs his own YouTube channel as well, James Talks Spurs. But James, how are you, bud? And thank you for coming on. I'm delighted you're here.
Yeah, I'm good. I'm nervous about the game tomorrow, but it's one of them. I'm not looking forward to it. I might be hiding behind the sofa watching it, possibly.
I think I tell you what I've got right. This only comes out once a year when we're ready. This is my hiding cushion for the watch along. It only comes out once when we're in dire troubles. But there you go. And of course, the one and only. This man is no introduction the world over. He is the fighting man out of Michigan. He is the Rocky Balboa from the United States. He is the one. He is the only. He is the number one Spurs man from the whole United States. He even will go, if him and Donald Trump went for the president, this man would win. It is the one and only. You would win. You would win, Steve. You'll win by landslide, man. It is Steve from Stateside Footy. How are you, Steve? Long time.
I'm doing well.
About an hour.
About an hour, yeah. No, I do appreciate it, and thank you guys. And it's great to meet the two of you as well. And hopefully tonight will be absolutely excellent. Now, listen, I absolutely love the FA Cup. I have a tremendous and profound respect for the competition, and especially our lineage and our history within the FA Cup. That being said, to answer Derma's question, what kind of ball are we going to see tomorrow? Well, I probably would assume we're going to see a little bit of everything tomorrow, right? Because unfortunately, we don't necessarily have one style of play in which we like to play. And so we might be good in the first half, might be bad in the second half, or vice versa, or anything in between. I don't know. I don't necessarily know how I'm supposed to feel about tomorrow. And, my heart says one thing, but my head is telling me something completely different. And you know what they say, right? So go with the intuition. Yeah. Never go against your gut instinct. So tomorrow is going to be, it's going to be great.
Yeah, Rain knows me too well. I was so excited about tomorrow. I'll be up at the crack of dawn tomorrow morning. The missus will have to tie me down on the chair, telling me you can't move until kickoff, Domo. You have to sit there and shit. That's what, because I was so pumped. I love the FA Cup. Third round day is the best day in the world for me. It's like Christmas Day tomorrow, and let's see, can we make it 9 FA Cup wins? Doubt it, but we can all hope and dream. Let's welcome a few people in. Big up to Giant68. It says, big up, Domo, Rain and Pano and chat. Big up to you. It says, link in the 1901 shirt players will wear. I'm just seeing it. And I got a little bit of news on that. I know you were asking about it, Steve. But there is a limited run of just 1,901 of these shirts will be made available for fans to purchase online only from 9 a.m. tomorrow. So, guys, if you do want to get it, you have to get on quite early, because I know you're asking about that earlier, Steve. So I did a bit of digging, and there you go. So it is go. Look at that, man. Look at that lovely shirt. Look at that beautiful blue shirt. Look at that. Absolutely lovely. Big up to Luke as well from Big Up Spotlight on Spurs. Big up to Luke. We'll have to get you on the channel again, but enjoy your channel. Enjoy watching you. Everyone do get over to Spotlight and Spurs if you can.
Luke.
Big up to James Saunders as well. It says Conor Gallagher, the Villa I've heard. I'm waiting for a massive update from the people I use. So yeah, he'd be a good fit for Villa, I think. I'll be in the way end tomorrow with 9,000 Villa fans. Looking forward to Villa play a strong team with a couple of squad players for the game. Look, I think you guys are going to win personally, but look, miracles can happen. Big up to Cyprus Spurs as well. Big up, hi guys, and Dermo, big up to you, Cyprus Spurs. Hope you're doing well. He says, big up, guys. Wish you the best for the rest of the season, but I need my team to win. You don't need to apologize. If it was the other way around, I'd be saying exactly the same. Big up to Central Bass Delete, Chuck Norris.
Well, because you said, you said that, I'm like one of the biggest guys in the United States. He's just responding with Chuck Norris. I think he might be onto something there.
No. I still think you're you're the biggest man in America. You're on mute again. Yeah, can't hear you, bud.
Yeah, no. I was doing it deliberately. I'm letting you go.
Right.
Okay. It's like twins. It's like twins, Steve. Do snakes also run away from you when you look at them?
No, they don't.
No.
Okay.
Big up to Paul as well. Evening, gentlemen. Evening, Paul. Hope you're doing well. Look, I want to start with the FA Cup, and it's just to get us going. Tottenham Hotspur have a rich history in the FA Cup, winning it 8 times, winning it as a non-league side back in 1901. The last time we won the FA Cup was back in 1991. I was 14 years of age the last time we won the FA Cup. There is children that have never, there's adults now have never ever seen us win the FA Cup. So I'm going to start with you and go around. What is your favourite Tottenham FA Cup memory? Ray, I'll start with you, bud.
I've got 2. Can I have 2?
All right, everyone
have
gets
2?
Okay, yeah, 2. Go on.
Can I have 2? So,
Yeah.
so clearly, the number one is the Gaza.
Yeah.
The Gaza free kick in the semi-final, and like you know, I was a teenager when that happened, and it was at the point where I was kind of getting interested in watching football.
Yeah.
Whereas previously, I was only interested in playing football. I used to go along to football regularly, but I was only interested in. We didn't even used to watch. We just used to go and play out the back of the stand of one of the stands in the non-league ground that I used to go to. But my second memory is that my first ever top flight game and my first ever that I went to, my first ever Tottenham Hotspur game, was the 1987 FA Cup final. One of my friend's dads, and it's actually this friend who's the reason that I'm a Spurs fan. His dad was a massive Spurs fan, and he took 3 of us along to watch us lose to Coventry. And I was quite, I was quite young. I couldn't see very much. It was all standing in Wembley, and but I do remember that I do remember getting absolutely swept up with the atmosphere. That's where even though we lost, that's where I thought I absolutely love this. And I still go to regularly watch football in person today.
They're very good games. James, for you, what's your great FA Cup memory? Your best one?
It's a difficult one for me because every time I've seen us play in the FA Cup, we're out of it by like the 3rd round or 4th round. Unfortunately, I don't know what year it was. I don't know if it was. It might have been. I get them confused. FA Cup, Carabao Cup, they're all the same. I don't know. We got to a final where we lost to City. Like it was only 1-0. That's probably the best. But I can't remember what competition it was. I'm not sure if it was.
That was the League Cup. Yeah, that was during COVID, wasn't it? It was the League Cup final.
That's the best cup run I've seen us do.
That's fair. That's fair, bud. That's absolutely fair. Steve, for you, what's your best FA Cup memory?
Obviously, 91, just because of the Gaza's free kick. But I also have to give out a shout to 60-61 because obviously it was a part of a double season. But 1980-81 is actually kind of special too because it was the first FA Cup final to go to a replay since 1970. And if you guys happen to remember that, Tommy, I think his name was Tommy Hutchinson, scored for City in the 30th minute, but then he scores an own goal in the 79th minute to push it to the replay. And in the replay, I think Ricky Villa scored in the 8th minute. And then I think it was I think right after half, maybe there was a penalty that City equalized before Garth Crooks and Tony Galvin scored for Spurs, and then of course there was the FA Cup for Spurs right there. And I actually think I prefer that one a little bit more just because of the historical context of the fact that an FA Cup final actually went to a replay because the first leg ended up in a 1-1 draw. So yeah, I'm going to go with that.
Yeah, for me, my memory, of course, 91. It has to be 81. I was only a young kid at the time. I was 4 or 5. Didn't really know what football was about, but I wanted the team in white to win. And there was Ricky Villa scoring them 2 brilliant goals. And who got the Tottenham third goal that day? Video got 2. Was it Garth Crooks?
Yeah, it was Garth Crooks.
Garth Crooks with 2. Yeah, with 1, and then Ricky Video with 2. And also, of course, that free kick by Gaza. Lineker scored 2 that day as well. It was we stopped them doing the double, so yeah. And then into chat, put it into chat, guys, what your favourite Tottenham FA Cup memory. Look, we are under a lot of stress at the moment, guys. Only 2 wins over the last 12, only 7 wins over the last 22. Thomas Frank is under pressure. No question about that. What do you think? What does he have to do tomorrow to show Tottenham fans he is the man to get behind? What's the one thing he has to do tomorrow, guys? And Steve, I'll start with you, bud.
I think it's pretty simple. Just switch your tactics. And one of the things that I know so far is the fact that few players have already been to him and asking him to switch tactics. And Thomas Frank said, "Thank you. No, I'm the manager. We're going to stick to the game plan here." And unfortunately, we just do not necessarily have the skill set to run the type of football that he wants to play. And because of it, all you have to do is look at the players' faces and reactions on the field. They look uncomfortable. They look stressed. There's tension in their faces, and they just do not look comfortable playing that style of football. Not to mention the fact that when you actually look at some of the strengths of our players, when you look at the style of play in which they played prior to coming to Spurs, they were direct players. And so from that standpoint, why would you play a style of football that is not conducive to the strengths of your team, especially now considering that we still haven't replaced Sonny on the left-hand side. We lose Mohamed Kudus, and now all of a sudden, we're pushed into a situation where we have to use Matisse Tell and Odegaard on both sides just to actually have a semblance of a starting 11. So from that standpoint, if you have to play it that way, be a little bit more direct, take the handbrake off, play balls through the middle, and just go out. I mean, it's the FA Cup. Go out there and just play, a high-flying style of football and just enjoy yourselves for one afternoon. Because as of right now, not to sound hyper, not to push hyperbole into the equation, but the reality is, it's like I'm tired of seeing. I'm very much tired of seeing Spurs play 2 different halves of football, and the results end up the same. That Sunderland game was an absolute a nutshell of what the season is all about. Where in the first half they look like they're up for it, they're pressing, they're getting balls, they're getting balls turned over in dangerous areas, they're progressing the ball, getting shots on net, and then right around the 40th minute they take their foot off the gas in the second half. They revert to the same old tactics that they know that they can't execute. Sunderland equalizes, and then all of a sudden 3 points go away. I'm tired of seeing that style of football, and if we do it tomorrow, I'm not liking our chances here.
No, I get that. I mean, James, look, the FA Cup is important to us. It is our competition. It's tomorrow a lifeline for our season, and if we do go out of the FA Cup tomorrow, what did the club do next, do you think, on Thomas Frank?
For me personally, if we lose tomorrow, I think he's gone. Because we've only got Champions League and we've only got 2 games to get in top 8. Otherwise, we're playing qualifier games into. So if he loses tomorrow, I think he's gone. Because I just don't see us doing much more in the Champions League unless we're going to beat Dortmund and Frankfurt, which at the moment, with the amount of players we've got and issues we've got, I don't see happening. So I think he has to win tomorrow, because if he doesn't win tomorrow, I think he's gone, or at least try something different tomorrow. If not,
I agree. I think, go on, James. Sorry, bud.
If he parts the bus and we're 2-0 down by half time, then it's over, because Villa will just park up shop.
Yeah, I mean, it might turn into a Martin Yardley gets sacked at half time. I don't think the fans will be singing his name. I think the Finns will be singing, "Thank God he's gone." I mean, look, Rain, we've seen a lot of Spurs over the years. We all have. We've seen the good, the bad, and the damn right ugly. But you go to the most home games every Premier League game. Now, as you well know, that the stadium has been a bit toxic this year. I mean, somebody sent me a picture of the stadium if we do lose tomorrow night. This will be the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, and that's just Rain getting at it after he gets, after we lose the answer. What apparently that was sent to me. That was funny. Where are you on it, Bud? Where are you on with Thomas Frank and that? Because if we do sack him, which we think he will be, then there's nobody out there to bring in. So Steve asked me a question earlier, and I think it was a great question you asked me, Steve. Who would you like to come in as an interim boss if we do lose tomorrow, Thomas Frank does get the sack?
Are you asking me that question?
Yeah, I'm asking you that question, yeah.
You know that I don't think Frank is getting sacked tomorrow.
No, but hypothetically, Rain, if he did, who for you be a right interim to come in to take us to the end of the season?
I don't think it matters. I really don't think it matters. I really don't. I just. It could be anybody. It really doesn't matter. I'm. Whoever it is, it is. I don't think Frank. I think we're going to lose tomorrow. I think Villa are far too good a team for us, and they're far too. We're far too damaged at this moment in time. I think we are significantly damaged. There's clear damage coming out of the Ange era. And players now turning around. Players turned around to Ange and told Ange, we can't play attacking football. We need to play pragmatic football. And now players are turning around to Frank and saying, we don't want to play this football. We want to play different football. At some point, the players and the club needs to get on board the fact that if the coach isn't in charge, then the club will never go anywhere. And we will always be changing coaches. So, and that's a significant problem. It's a significant culture problem at the club. It was really well highlighted when we had the All or Nothing documentary, and Jose flipping Mourinho, the literal don of managers for the last 30 years, sat in his office, and Danny Rose sat opposite him on a downward trajectory in his career and said, I'm going to go and speak to Daniel, to the coach. And I think that culture is still at the club and it needs to go. Now Frank may not be the person to turn that around, but we need as a club for that culture to be turned around. And tomorrow, what does Frank need to do? Stick to his principles, keep going. If he doesn't stick to his principles, then he may as well just resign, and we get somebody else who will stick to their principles. Because if he's not in charge, then get out of the way.
Yeah, no, I agree. Look, Tottenham have made their first signing, guys, of the window, and it is Jesus or Sousa from Santos. He would go from Fabrizio Romero, deal in place for €15 million. Fee as a verbal agreement he has been reached. Travel schedule on Sunday after deal agreed with agency Spurs and Santos Sports. Documents to be exchanged this weekend and then all sealed. So Spurs have bought their first player, a 19-year-old. Guys, look, we all know we need better players, but why do we keep doing this? Why do we keep buying 19-year-olds altogether? It's getting ridiculous. I mean, I'll start with you, James, on this. I mean, James, where are you on this? Do you want experience, or are you quite happy buying another 19-year-old?
The thing is, we need the balance. We need to have youngsters, but we also need professional footballers that are not under the age of like 23. We need like professional footballers so the youngsters can learn. Otherwise, we're just going to send everyone out on loan if they're not good enough, which is clearly what's happening at the moment. But It's a difficult one. Personally, I think we need better players and not just kids.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's just my opinion.
No, I get it. I mean, look, guys, James and not James, Rain and Steve. Look, I was with Steve earlier. Seemed to had a great. We had a great show earlier talking about Tottenham and the way, you know, with Paratici and Lang and that. But I've got two separate questions for you both. We'll go with you, Rain, first, bud. Look, Johan Lang, he done brilliantly at Villa. He didn't do very well at Villa. Now Villa are doing brilliantly. What do you want to see the club to do after this window? Do you want to clear the decks and start again and bring in like a Paul Mitchell back? Or what do you think? Or do the club have to ditch the director of football and go back to old school? The manager has to say in the players he wants. The manager deals with it, and then the chairman just signs it off. How do you want Tottenham to do this? Because it's not working. Whatever we're doing, it isn't working.
We desperately need an effective director of football at our club who will work alongside the coach. Let the coach do what he does, whoever that coach is, and oversee the long-term view of the progression of Tottenham Hotspur Football Club and the players. The reality is the chairman and the board look after the 20-year future of the football club. That's the 10 to 20 years. That should be their perspective. That they should be looking at that kind of view going forward. A director of football should be 5 to 7 years, the extent of a player's contract, because we all forget that when we sign a player, it's not just for. I always say it's not just for Christmas; it's for 5 years, right? And a coach, their perspective is the next season, and then you've got the coaches and the player. The players are game by game, and the coaches should be doing month by month. So we don't have somebody in that director of football role who's building a squad over the 5 to 7 year period. We react, we stumble from situation to situation. We had a situation a few years ago under Conte where we had no centre backs, and then we kind of turbocharged the recruitment of centre backs, and ended up with like 6. It's absolutely bonkers. We don't seem to be able to stop ourselves and be rational, and that comes from not having somebody who's doing the DOF job effectively. The last really good one we had was Paul Mitchell, and everybody lauds Poch, but Poch really lived off the back, and yes, he did a fantastic job, but he lived off the great work that Mitchell did in getting players. And recruitment lags performance, right? So performance lags recruitment. So you recruit somebody, and then you get performance from them the next not in 6 months, a year, 2 years time. So that's why you recruit people, so you can get performance from them. So Pochettino got the performance out of the really good players that Mitchell brought in the mid 2010s, just before Poch joined. We desperately need somebody like that. Absolutely desperate. And I think the hilarious thing is, I think probably the best person at our club to be doing and managing that is probably Frank. We could probably do with Ange, like an Ange figurehead in charge of the team affairs, and someone like Frank who's got the wherewithal to do squad building. Do you know what I mean? So we've got these two people. Nobody wanted Ange, or lots of people wanted Ange out. Now everybody wants Frank out. And I think actually a combination of the two at the club would have been absolutely perfect. They would have been like the perfect duo. Unfortunately, separated, neither of them seems to be suitable for our football club. So we need to get Johan Lang out of our club, in my opinion. When somebody told me yesterday on a stream that I didn't know what I was talking about with Sousa, because he becomes really good in Football Manager and he's a wonder kid. I went, my mind is made up. We should not be signing this 19-year-old Brazilian.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. I mean, Steve, look, he's only played 25 games in his whole career, right? He does have injury issues as well with his ankle. Look, we've had good times under Paul Mitchell. Then we had the Steve Hitchen debacle, who was worst sporting director ever. Then we've had Paratici come in and work his magic. Then he got suspended worldwide from trying to fix the books up at Juventus or something like that. Then we had brought in Johan Lang. Villa must have thought when Spurs came for Johan Lang, all our Christmases have come at once. Please, let's get rid of this man. And they must have really pumped him up as the greatest director of football ever. Villa done a brilliant job getting rid of him. But Steve, again, we've been let down in this window. Again, 9 days in, we're signing a 19-year-old. Do you think Tottenham are just buying for the future? Because I don't think they're going to be backing Thomas Frank in this window. Because I have a thinking that he could be out of a job. But as Rain keeps telling me, there's nobody running Tottenham at the moment because of all the off-field shenanigans between them and Daniel Levy, trying to dilute his share. We know Spurs are probably up for sale in all but name. So it is a circus right now. But do you think that? Do you think Tottenham are just buying for the future and not for Thomas Frank?
No, I think Tottenham are buying in the class of players that they're able to get. And let's just understand that we do not feast at the same table as Arsenal, Man City, Liverpool, Manchester United. For as toxic as Manchester United is, they're still able to draw because, quite honestly, they have no problem paying. And even if it doesn't make sense financially in the long term, they still don't care. If there's a target, they're going to go and get it. And if that means they have to outbid somebody, they're going to do it. Spurs do not do that. As a matter of fact, the reason why Johan Lang was brought in is because he is a youth whisperer, and there was a concerted effort to buy young for resale value, because if the player blows up, they're able to go away and double and triple their investment, and that is good business, right? The idea is if you can do that, let's say you had 10 youth players that are anywhere between 18 and 22 years old. They come into Tottenham, and within 2 years they blow up and they're in the first team. Then all of a sudden your $20 million, buying price all of a sudden becomes 45. And the idea is then when you sell, then you're going to have the wherewithal to bring in experienced players. And then from that point, you can kick on. But that being said, in the meantime, you're able to build a new spine for your team and you can kick on and win trophies and all that other good stuff. And it's like, okay, on paper, it sounds good. But when you do that, you take yourself away from players that are actually going to win you trophies now. Because they know for a fact that you're not going to be spending $85 million to go get them, and you're not going to be paying them $300,000 a week, where your competitors that are actually winning trophies now will 100% go ahead and do it. Which is funny because, they've mentioned the name Nico Williams. They've thrown that name out there, and it's like, there's no way in hell Nico Williams is coming to Tottenham Hotspur because he makes $350,000 a week, and Spurs are not even going to come close to matching that one. Even though he is probably one of the best left wingers in Spain right now, there's just absolutely no shot in hell. And by the way, what's funny is I see the name Glenn Hoddle and Paul Gascoigne and some of these other things. Imagine if they were on the open market today in their prime, zero chance they come to Spurs, because at that point in time in Spurs history, they actually were willing to go out there and bring somebody that kind of fit the club, and were willing to go out and get them. And again, under different ownership groups. But now under Enoch, it's something completely different. And so when you have that reputation in the market that you're not going to go and be a legitimate top club, then that reputation gets among players. And so, what's funny, it's like we can get an Akaluche, we can get a Chris Smith, we can get a Jan Diamani who are looking to jump to the Premier League for the first time. 100% we can get those guys. Guys that have tremendous upside. We can get a Souza, 100% we can get that. But, there's a reason why Morgan Gibbs White said, I don't think so. Eze said, no shot. And now Semenya was like, yeah, that's funny, you guys. That's funny. You guys are cute. There's a reason why top players of the Premier League are saying, yeah, thanks, but no.
Yeah. I get it. I mean, James, look, I don't mean this to be. Please don't take this rudely, but you're the younger fan. You're the fan. You're this Tottenham's this generation, if you know what I mean. Where 44 years, Steve's been over 30 years, and Rain's been, same as me, 40 odd years. But as Spurs fan, you've only known Enoch as owners. In your time at the Tottenham watching Spurs over the years with the transfer market, like buying Dele Alli for 5 million, players like that, do you get frustrated with our transfer market, or do you think this is the state of football today? It wasn't like when I was young.
I think the issue with the issue with our club as well is you hear this, we're interested in, I don't know, so and so, and I'm thinking, why are we trying to go for targets that are like ridiculous, like you Semenyo's? You're thinking Semenyo ain't going to come to us at the moment anyway, because the club's a mess. We're too busy trying to go for the fancy signings of the big players, the big dogs, and you're thinking no chance. And we're wasting our time, and then it's lastminute.com. We buy some player that no one's ever heard of, and they turned out to be crap. And I think that's been the last few years anyway. Since like Poch, it's just we seem to get worse in the transfer markets. We just seem to lastminute.com buy, and then we end up with some crap players like we do now. So yeah, it's so depressing every transfer market.
It is frustrating, isn't it? But it really is frustrating. I mean, look, Van der Vaart, as Simon says, was the last big one. And yeah, Van der Vaart was a great play for us. Me and Rain were talking about him the other night. I mean, Rain, look, we know what Daniel Levy's transfer policy was: buy young, good resell, and then sell them on later on. Enoch haven't really come out and told us what their ambitions are. All we got in the summer was, we're going to strip it. We're going to get rid of the wage structure. We're going to play the players properly. We're going to go after these big name players. We're going to build on the success of Bale. And here we are, third round of the FA Cup tomorrow. It's the last chance to win silverware. If we go out tomorrow, season is over. Enoch are not spending any money in the transfer window. Thomas Frank looks lost. The players all want, look, come the summer, we could lose Richarlison. We could lose Mickey van der Ven. I think Porro's another one that could go in the summer. And again, we're just building ourselves up for failure. What if you had a magic wand? What would be the first thing you would change at the club?
Where do I start? I'm going to say I completely agree with Steve's summary of the transfer situation at Tottenham. And let's actually think, when was the last time we actually made good money on a player that we bought young? And for me, the last time we actually made money on a player that we bought young was Gareth Bale. And that was back in 2012? That was 13 years, 14 years ago, 13, 14 years ago. And we are clearly still following the same philosophy of trying to find that hyper value player that we can bring through. It's absolutely bonkers, to be honest. Aston Villa tomorrow are a perfect example of a club that is run really rationally. They buy good pros who come into their team. They sprinkle them with some stardust, and that's fine. But you need the pros first, and you need the pros who are working well first. We started to do that in the summer. The problem is that it takes many windows to undo the damage that was done in historic windows. So a lot of people are losing there because of where we are, and we just need more windows like the summer where we don't make massive mistakes. We get rational, we get decent jobbing professionals like Paulinho in on loan. We get decent, skillful players like Kudus and Xavi, and keep adding them to our squad. The problem that we've got is that we're adding them to a squad that's developing, like Bergvall and Gray and Tell and Odebear, and aren't ready. So, and when players aren't ready, everything starts falling apart. So, where do we start? Where's my magic wand? My magic wand. I need to pick one thing. There's many things, but the one thing is for the club to define, for Vinay to announce a reorganization of the executive who run our club, the director of football, the coach, whether that's Frank or somebody else, that it's a structure that everybody understands, and we have a plan, and go with it. At the moment, it just feels like we just react from window to window.
I think we'll react from crisis to crisis this season, because it's been one thing after another this season. It's been one thing. I mean, Steve, look, tomorrow, we haven't played well at home for the last 18 months or so. And away from home, we're brilliant. But when we play at White Hart Lane, we're not playing well. Now, tomorrow is FA Cup. We need everyone united, everyone behind the team. But there is a question. If Villa go 1-0 up, how quickly would that stadium turn toxic? And do you feel the fans then might turn on the board, might say Enoch out? Because that was the chant to Levy, wasn't it? Levy out, and then 48 hours later, the manager was sacked. Do you think the fans will turn on the hierarchy tomorrow if we lose?
I think the fans have already turned on them. When you look on Twitter, or X, and you see Change for Tottenham that are trying to rally the troops for a protest, it kind of gives you the idea that that there's something boiling in the water already. When you see massive X accounts that are having those polls that get 10,000 people voting on the polls that already don't want Thomas Frank around, and that's not the entire fan base, but it's a nice little subsection of it. It kind of tells you that they're already sick of it. And they're sick of the lip service that is being delivered from the top to the bottom. I would probably assume that if we concede in the first 10 minutes of the game, I would probably think it gets toxic in a real quick, and the Boo Birds are going to be out there, which is unfortunately going to bring the talk from Thomas Frank about the true fans and blah 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 blah. So that's the thing. It's like the worst thing you want to see the worst thing you want to see is that toxicity in an FA Cup match. But that being said, it's like it's like unless Thomas Frank is going to damn the torpedoes and be something that he hasn't been this year within his structure, I would probably assume if we see anything that is remotely similar to what we saw against Chelsea, what we saw against Arsenal, what we saw against Villa the first time around at home, where we're conceding from outside the box because we refuse to step up and close out space, and then all of a sudden, we're 2 down at half, and we have yet to really, sequence 3 balls together to push up the pitch, and we're literally just pinned back in our own half for a good 25 minutes. 100%. You're going to hear the Boo Birds, and from that point, it's game on. It's game on. We're going to hear Enoch out for the rest of the season.
Yeah, I mean, look, I'll come to you. I've got a different question for you, James. But Rain, you go to most Premier League home games, and we've talked about this, haven't we? About the atmosphere at Tottenham, and sometimes, I mean, the last game you went to, you were telling me it was good, it was positive, that the fans were behind the team, and it was very sort of pockets of against it, but majority would be for it. Look, do you think the hierarchy know, or do you think they will have an inkling that the fans are after their blood, or do you think they just don't care? It's not even on their radar. They're going on as business as usual, so we can protest as much as we like, but it doesn't even register on their radar. I mean, what's it like at the games? You go to them. You're at most home games, so is there much toxic atmosphere at some of the games, or how are you feeling it?
It's a bit bipolar, really. It could go one way or it can go the other. And I was really surprised against Sunderland that there was booing. I'll be brutally honest. I was really surprised that there was booing. I don't know whether it requires a certain set of fans to be there, because I'll tell you this, that there's definitely empty spaces, and I've said this before. I'll say it for other people who don't want, who haven't heard me say it. The two seats next to me have been season tickets on this side, on my left hand side. The two seats next to me have been season tickets for the whole duration of the stadium, and the two old guys who I still message regularly, who decided that they'd had enough making the long journey to the stadium, decided that they were not going to renew, and those seats are now on general sale. So where's this fabled season ticket waiting list that everybody's desperate for a season ticket? There's two season tickets there that are now being regularly taken by. Don't get me wrong, it's great for me. I get to chat to different people on a regular basis, and I'm a chatter. I go to the game. We all talk. All of the people around. I'm fist bumping people like 2 or 3 rows away. That not everybody's like that, but everybody's turning around to me. How you doing, mate? But the stadium, when you have that few people who are going regularly, when you have that amount of turnover, you will get people who are there and want and don't have a long-term investment in the club. They have spent money to go to that particular game, and if they don't get it, they don't get what they want. I don't blame them for being upset. So when Conte left, I turned around and I said, the one thing I want for our club this season, the next season, is for there not to be any toxicity in the stand. It's carried on. It's carried on this season. There's too much. For me, there's too much toxicity, and we don't realise as fans how much of an impact we have on the players on the pitch. So there's 2 ways to break the feedback loop that's currently sort of adding to our problems. That's sort of accentuating the wave as it goes up and down. One is for the players to actually deliver results, and I'm very clear that there is another way, which is the fans get behind the team and encourage them and be that 12th man. At the moment, I don't see either happening.
Yeah, well, you can say that, all right. And look, where I agree with you mostly what you said, that the relationship between the player and the fans have completely broken down. It's completely strained to. I don't know how we're going to start to rebuild that. And I mean, James, we've got likes of Porro coming out and saying only true Tottenham fans can support it. You've got Thomas Frank saying only true Tottenham fans can support us. We had, as much as I love Ange Postecoglou, last year Ange did strain with the copping of the ear and arguing with fans, and everything got a bit messy. It was only when Poch was here, I think, was the last time we was united as one, the fans and the team and the players. I mean, you're a younger fan, so maybe it's a different generational thing for me or Rain or Steve. I mean, what do you think? And how can the players and the fans come together again? Like Rain was saying, that the fans must back the players. But if you got players telling you you're not a true Tottenham fan, because you boo me because I made a mistake. You know, we do have a right. We paid the most expensive tickets in Europe, the most expensive season tickets in Europe as well. Do you agree with Rain, or how would you do it differently? What would your opinion be at all?
Can I just say, I want to be clear. I want to be clear. I'm not saying that Porro, therefore, or Frank has a right to tell the fans that they should be doing.
I agree.
And actually, I agree with you, Dermot, that them saying that just breaks it. It actually breaks. It actually causes more problems.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah.
I think for me personally, the issue. I think the issue that we have is I'm just sick of the players every time they lose coming out with some excuse, and then as soon as we start booing them, you can't do that. You can't boo us. We're perfect. And I'm like, you've got to take some criticism. The players have to take some responsibility, because I'm just sick of them coming out with excuses every game. Like Vicario comes out and talks about, we need to try better. I'm thinking, instead of saying that, just play better on the pitch. I'm not asking for you to play like Barcelona or Real Madrid. I'm asking you to play football, and instead you're too busy talking on social media. That's the problem with footballers' generation now, especially now, is everything is on Instagram, and they're saying, we'll be back next week and this, that, and the other. I'm just like, instead of moaning on Instagram, just actually play football instead of it does my head in when footballers come out with excuses after excuses, especially every week.
Go and work on your kicking, Vicario. Go and work on your distribution, and get better at that. Maybe Jed Spence should work on kicking with his left foot on the training pitch. I make you right. There is far too, and you see it on the pitch. I mean, I'm always hyper aware, as somebody who goes to games regularly, that there is this. You get a benefit to being in the stadium, and you get a benefit to watching stuff on TV. And I'm absolutely convinced that some of the stuff you see in the stadium that you don't see on TV is just how much they argue with each other and just how much they blame each other for problems that they cause. You saw, Steve, I'm sure when Vicario messed up in the Fulham game and should have just kicked the ball out, and he turned around and he blamed everybody else.
Right, and that's where your manager is supposed to step up and be like, no. Hook, Kinski goes in. Right, that's the thing. He and I apologize, my friend, I forgot your name, but you bring up a very I'm bad with names. You bring up a very interesting point, because that is the era in which we live in, right? There's zero personal accountability when it comes to these players. And the crazy thing is these guys were kids at one point and understand the value of what it means to play football and be a footballer, because that was passed down from their dads and their grandfathers, and they understand the lineage of football in England and what it takes to get to the top and all the grind that it takes. And you're going to get managers that you just don't like. Trust me when I tell you, there's been plenty of managers that I played for that I absolutely couldn't stand, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Like, there is a certain level of accountability that you have to take if you're going to be playing professional football, especially at the highest levels. And that's where I hate to use this term, but it is a delicate ballet between coaches and the players, right? If the players are not up to it, and they're continuously not up to it, and the level of play and the end product that we get is, in 2025, We literally only won 6 games at home the entire year. That's just absolutely not good enough. And so there's got to be a level of accountability from the coach to say, yeah, okay, cool. I ran you out there for 5-6 games. You're not up to it, even though that you do definitely have technical ability, but you cannot play in this system. You are done until you can actually get to that point where you can play. And I'm bringing in a 19-year-old because at least I know for a fact he's going to play hard. I at least know that. And from that standpoint, maybe he might pick it up. And that was the interesting thing about Vicario. Vicario, from within 6 feet of 6 feet, he's actually a pretty good shot stopper. But anything beyond 6 feet, for whatever reason, he just cannot stop a shot. And he is continuously leak goals and blames everybody else. And it's like, you have a backup keeper in Kinski. And I understand that you don't rate him, but one of the things you can do is give him confidence by playing him, and then all of a sudden it gets better because now all of a sudden he feels like you actually do rate him, and he's going to go out there and run through a wall for you.
Yeah, I mean, he's got no confidence at all, has he, Kingsgate? It's, confidence is out of his boots completely. Look, I just want to get this. Big up to us, We Are Spurs TV. I'm going to get your comment in a minute, but this is from Rudolph. Big up to you, bud. I hope you're doing well. He says, I have secondhand experience of this. My 18-year-old nephew came in for West Ham in the second half at 3-0 down, and played very well, making a cross for Wilson, but was booed off, confused. And then also this sort of goes on to what We Are Spurs TV are saying as well. He says, what's marching down the high road? Singing about how much you love Kulu going to accomplish. The chance should be directed more towards in it. How come our protests have to be family friendly? Rain, you go to these protests quite a lot. I look very quickly. My thing, I think they should be there for everyone to go, not the hardcore Tottenham fans. If families are there for the day out, but they want to join the protest, they have a right to join the protest. Everyone has a right to have their say. And I don't know what you mean. How come the protests have to be family friendly? I don't know. What do you want us to do? What do you want the protests to be? Go and do what Man United did a few seasons ago, go and get a game abandoned? Would that make you happy? I mean, I just don't get it. I mean, Rain, you've gone to all the protests.
In 1985, Kenilworth Road in 1985, where the fans stormed the pitch. I'd be down for that.
I mean, you go to these protests regularly, Rain. What do you say to We Are Spurs TV?
I see where I see where they're coming from. You get places. It's harsh reality of being a human being. Rome was ruled by the mob, right? And we're still human. We're still human beings. But I have to say, We Are Spurs TV, as somebody who was one of the 15 before Burnley and one of the 30 or 40 before Bournemouth, before Levy left and the protests stopped, and having gone to all of the other protests, that 2, 3, 4,000 person march up the high road, which was family friendly, I think was absolutely fantastic. I think it was an absolute show of force, and it warmed my heart to see dads and lads, kids on their dads' shoulders, walking down that high road together. Because for me, that's a lot of what football should be about, right? It's about family, community, coming together to do something positive, and that was something that happened that time when we had a huge march that went down the high road. So the answer to your question is it has to be family friendly, because that's when you get the most amount of people, and when you get the most amount of people, that has the biggest impact. When you don't have when it isn't family friendly, people don't go.
Yeah. And that's down to change for Tottenham, and fair play to them. fair play to change Tottenham. They've done a great job, and I reckon there'll be a protest before the end of the window. Personally, myself. William Webb says the panel never seemed to blame the director of football. The manager and the players are easy talking. We about half an hour ago we were calling out Enoch quite regularly. I mean, you can back me up in this, Rain. How many times on every show do I call out the director of football and the owners?
Mr. Webb, you have clearly not been watching me. You have clearly not been watching me talk about our club. I deflect every single time somebody talks about Frank. I deflect and I turn it round onto the DOS. And actually, Dermot earlier was talking about Mitchell, Hitchin, was talking about Paratici. I think maybe you missed. Go and watch the first half hour, mate.
Yeah,
big up to Leo Starman, the only man who wants me to go and put on my Davy Bowie LP. Big up to you, Leo. Says, hi, Dermo. I hate Spurs right now. I think we all do in our own little way.
You know what's funny, Derma, is you and I actually had a conversation this afternoon specifically about Johan Lang and the funny thing that I find, and this is the perplexing thing, is Johan Lang was the driving force behind hiring Thomas Frank. He was the one that actually thought it was a good idea that Spurs should be Brentford because his Danish brother from another mother, is like this guru of high possession total football. And because of the longevity he had, he thought this was a good fit. And yet he does not actively seek out players that actually fits his system. Make that make sense.
I know. Look, let's talk a little bit about tomorrow's game. I'm going to go through some stats and go through the thing. Now, we have played Aston Villa 13 times in the FA Cup. We've had 2 draws. But you're asking, why is there a star behind the 2 draws? Well, there was a game in 1904, 3 years after Tottenham won the FA Cup. Now, I don't know if there's anything to do with Peaky Blinders. And I know that day Rain was there reporting for THF City would die to me and Tequila in the pub round the corner from Tottenham Marshes. He came in quite perplexed, gave out about the referee being crap. Some things never change. But yeah, it was abounded due to crowd trouble in 1904. We did go on to win the replay, by the way, so we did win it. Villa have had 6 wins in total, 2 at home and 4 away. Spurs have 5 wins in total, 3 at home and 2 away. This is our league positions. Tottenham are 14th at the moment, 7 wins, 6 draws, 8 defeats, and 30 goals scored. Villa are 3rd, 13 wins, 4 draws, 4 defeats, 45 goals scored. These are the form guides. Of course, Villa are playing very well. They got the win at Man United. They beat Chelsea. They did lose to Arsenal 4-1, where everyone's losing to Arsenal 4-1. But they did bounce back with a 3-1 win against Nottingham Forest, and they got a point at Palace at the other night. Tottenham a little bit more sporadic. Only no wins on our last 5. Only 1 win on our last 5, and that was against Crystal Palace. But Bournemouth was a terrible watch. Last 5 games, of course, Tottenham and Villa met in they did meet in 1903, I think was the first game. But 12th February 1969 in the 5th round, Spurs did beat Villa 3-2 at the Lane, 1-0 in the Lane, and the year we went on to win the FA Cup that year in 1982. We did beat them in the 3rd round in a replay back at Whitehall Lane. The first game was at Villa Park, that ended 0-0. We did beat them also in the round 3, and the 8th of January 2017, we beat them 2-0 that day. And then we did play them last season in the 5th round of the FA Cup. We lost 2-1. If I remember rightly, that was Tell's first goal for Tottenham, I think, in a Spurs shirt. A few Spurs stats. Spurs have faced Villa in 21, 61, 62, and 82. What happened? It was the same year where we went on to win the FA Cup in them years. So, you never know. We could go on tomorrow. Romero's banned, James, tomorrow. My predicted lineup, I was thinking dropping 1 or 2 players. That will be out the morning at 10 o'clock. Me and Rain will be recording after this stream. So do watch out for that. But with Romero being banned tomorrow, which I think is scandalous anyway, would you start Dragerson and Danso tomorrow, James?
I think you can start one of them. Probably Danzo, if I was being honest. I don't know. Dragerson hasn't had much football, and if we put him out tomorrow, it could go down the drain pretty quick, just because he's a bit rusty. And the Romero situation, I don't even know what to say about that. I'm not surprised, but yeah. It might be a high. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to say about Romero. If I'm being honest. I'm just sick of him doing silly mistakes and then not getting off the pitch when he's been sent off, and just that's what I don't like about Romero, is his stupidness. If he was,
I get that.
But I think he is one of our better defenders. But I'm just sick of him making mistakes and paying for him.
I get that. I mean, look, Rain. Look, we had Thomas Frank's press conference yesterday, and there was a case, wasn't it, of asked about what Romero put out. We discussed it last night at length, and it was sort of like it's been dealt with internally. But do you find it refreshing that players are now coming out and speaking their minds? Do you think it?
God, what a question, Dermot.
What, good or bad one?
Good one. It's a stonker of a question. It really is, because it you could go either way. I'm really not sure. The problem with Romero is that he's emotional. He's very Argentinian, and he clearly, as I said the other day, he clearly loves the club. He clearly does. Clearly cares about it. But it's the classic. Your greatest strength is also your greatest weakness, right? He's emotional.
It is,
and that leads him to be give us some great performances. I still remember when we beat Leicester, and there was the Steven Bergwijn double in the last 2 or 3 minutes of the game, and everybody forgets that it was set up by an absolute blockbuster of a tackle by Romero, where he came out and did one of his classic boom tackle, stood up, passed the ball, and that galvanized the whole team to drive forward and go and get that win, which was absolutely crucial for us. So we want more performances like that. But unfortunately, the flip side of that kind of emotional reaction to a situation is that he has these bozo moments like he had, and the reason why he's now suspended. They were talking potentially about appealing it, and they didn't bother in the end. And I think it was probably right that they didn't bother, because it was cut and dried. So it's good that everybody cares, but there needs to be a little bit more compassion on both sides. There needs to be, I'm still going to say it, right? There needs to be more compassion from the players, understanding why the fans are emotional. And the other way, there needs to be compassion from, yes, football's an emotional game. We jump up and down on our sofa when we score, and in the stadium, you can very easily get swept along. But we do need to have more compassion for the players and be more supportive. It's difficult.
He's a captain.
Absolutely, I don't disagree. Yeah, I don't.
Yeah, he's the captain, though, right? And while you're 100% right that he the game is emotional, and he's an incredibly emotional player, as a captain, you have to be able to keep your head. And it's something that, when he gets angry, then he manages to go forward. He tries to do things that end up being in a detriment, where he gets caught out, and then all of a sudden we concede, right? Me personally, I'm the biggest Christian Romero fan. I think he's a world-class center back, World Cup winner. and I think the world of him. But even I have to admit that when the stakes get incredibly high, he has a tendency to bottle it in the worst way. Against PSG in the Champions League this year, he absolutely went out of his tree for some reason. And instead of a 3-3 draw, we end up losing 5-3 on two mistakes that were absolutely costly because he absolutely lost his mind for some reason. I think he also made a mistake in that Newcastle game as well too, when the stakes were absolutely high. And that's the unfortunate part about him. Is you're absolutely right. He wears his heart on his sleeve. But that being said, it's like that can also be costly as well too. And as a captain, you can't afford to do that.
No, you can't. You really can't. But listen, guys, we're going to leave it there. It's been a great show. I really enjoyed it. I just got to bang out this predicting lineup, and then I'm going to go and have my dinner. Guys, I just want score predictions and where people can find you. So I'm going to start with you, James, first. Where can people find you, bud? And can we have your score prediction for tomorrow? And I will put your link in the chat now.
Yeah, you can find me at James Talk Spurs. I've only just started YouTube, so I'm on like the starter pack, if you want to call it that. So I'm trying to get used to how things work on YouTube. But yeah, and my score prediction. I don't want to be negative, but I think it'll be a 2-1 win to Villa. Unfortunately, I just don't see us winning. I might be wrong, but yeah, I'm going 2-1 Villa.
Look, everyone, do good on. He's been absolutely fantastic making his debut tonight. Yes, he is. He is only you, but you can see a lot of them also over on JSY Football as well. So do get over to the girls over there. A great channel that is JSY, Jess and Stacey and the gang. But James, thank you so much for coming on. Everyone, please get over that and hit that link. And let's. How many subs you got at the moment, bud?
I don't even know. Like 106.
Right. Well,
I don't actually know.
Let's get him into double figures wherever it is. And also join this. Big up to Steve. Great having you on, bud, again. Where can people find you, bud?
Yeah, and I do want to say thank you, Dermot, for having me on tonight. Ray and James, it was an absolute pleasure to meet you guys. And hopefully I get your information. You guys can come on the show as well too. I love talking about my football club. Unfortunately, like James, I have no, and it's because I have no idea what we're actually going to do tomorrow, because things seem to change from a week-to-week basis. Unfortunately, I've lost some confidence in Thomas Frank. Unfortunately, I hate picking against my team, but we've seen Villa do it once this year, and Villa's going to do it again. I would probably assume they're going to get a couple goals from outside the box, and we will end up bowing out of the FA Cup. I'm going to go for a 3-0 Villa win.
Interesting. If that happens, then I think we might.
So yeah. Sub to my channel. Just kidding.
Yeah, get over to Steve's channel. He's more
go and have some therapy with Steve later on.
Steve will be joining us for After the Whistle tomorrow night with me and Rain, so we will be getting him tomorrow night to talk about the game. Rain, I know people can find you here. You're my co-host. You're my my third in command. You're like the vice president that's just got the new job. You just become vice president for temporary, and you're in there and you're looking for the big red button to hit. When can I hit? I want to hit that red button. I want to hit that red button. But where else can people find you, bud? And what's your score?
Yeah, the badge may say vice president, but the job description screams out dog's body. So yeah, that's where I am. I did just want to answer Leslie Crawford.
Yeah,
Leslie asked.
Where is it, bud?
Leslie asked a question. Does anyone else think Romero slows down play too much? And the answer is
yes.
The answer is in two parts. Yes.
Interesting.
My season ticket neighbour, who's been going for over 40 years to watch top. He told me the other day that he's been to watch us play at Arsenal away 23 times and only ever seen us win twice. So he's been going a long time. Yeah, absolutely. That's dedication. And everybody everybody has a favourite little saying, right, that they love shouting out. And there's loads of people around me, and they you know, one is sit down. He's just behind me and to my left. He just screams sit down constantly because everybody stands up and he wants everybody to sit down. It's too easy is back right. Too easy. It's too easy. It's too easy, right? But for the opposition team. My season ticket neighbour, love him. Great guy. We need play quicker, Spurs. He says all the time, play quicker. And Romero is a prime candidate. However, I will say there's a good reason it slows down. And that's because our players don't make runs to collect the ball. So our players, you cannot pass the ball unless to a player unless that player is making a run to make space to give the player who's got the ball an option. And we don't do it enough. The Romero, I constantly see Romero appealing to players to make runs and they don't make it. And that's been going on. That's been going on since Poch left. We've been playing walk and watch football for a long time.
Could it be that our coach is, has telling him not to speed up the tempo, that he wants a methodical build-up? Could it be that that is what's being asked of our players?
It's been going on. Well, then Jose did it, and Conte did it, and Ange did it because it's been going on that long, Steve. I've been watching been watching walk and watch football for a very long time at Tottenham Hotspur.
And Sonny also says it here. Don't all South American teams defend walk the ball out? Somebody, when you watch the World Cup, they do. Most Argentinians do that as well. Not like Brazil that just can't.
I love Jose Mourinho.
But yeah. Where else?
So in terms of tomorrow, well, yeah. So I'm regularly on Sava, with Sava. I'm regularly on with Sean. But here's where you find me. This is my home. So I just go and visit over there. So in terms of tomorrow, I think a 2-1. My head says a 2-1 loss. My heart says we are going to turn up tomorrow and we're going to stun the world and 2-0 win.
What about you, Dermot?
You know me, I'm going for a 3-0 win. We're going to go up tomorrow. We're going to whoop them. We're going to go there tomorrow. We're on our way to Wembley. You can get your Chaz and Dave LPs out. Get the bunting out. We're all going to win tomorrow. Spurs are going to win their 9th FA Cup. I've had it in my gut since the start of the season. This is our year to win the FA Cup. But being realistic and being normal after being sent down from the clouds. No, I'm still going 3-0 Spurs win. Is it penalties tomorrow if we draw? I think go straight to penalties, doesn't it?
Yeah.
We're going to win tomorrow, no matter which way. Well, guys, tomorrow we got a match day build-up starting at 5. Me and Rain are going to talk about the lineup, talk a bit about tactics tomorrow, and then the build-up. But then we've got the watch-along, and then we've got after the whistle where me, Rain, and Steve's coming on to talk all things about the match. Is Frank here? Is he gone? Is he still manager? He could have got the sack before we come on if we lose tomorrow with after the whistle. But guys, thank you all for watching. Do hit that like, do hit that description. We're on our way now to 2,000. We're on our way to 3K. So we're ready. We need to kick on. Let's get there. Please get over to James's channel and sub to him. Please get over to Steve's channel and sub to him. Just unsub to me and Rain. Keep us doing what we love doing.
Yeah.
But guys, we are back tomorrow. Where you going now, James? You're going into JYS? Is Jess on?
Yeah, possibly. I think she's still on.
So if you are watching, do THFC raid, put that in the chat, and get over to JYS football. Get over there. Have you got a link for them, James? You can give me a link so I can put it in the chat.
Yeah, bear me 2 seconds.
Big up to you, Riccavilla, as well. Great to see you, bud. And let me know what you think scores tomorrow. Let me know. Big up to Sonny. Now you can't stop them. The boys from Tottenham, the boys from White Hart Lane. I love that song. And Tottenham as well. while we're just waiting for James to give me that link and I put it in the chat, do get over and from the girls and say it's a THFC Till We Die raid, so they know they've come from us.
Bear me 2 seconds.
You want to say anything else, Rain, before we wait for the link at the chat pod?
I think the one thing that I think if there's one thing that I'd really like to see tomorrow is a good sort of a good round of Mickey van der Ven chants.
Yeah.
Because after the game midweek, he clearly responded to abuse from a single fan, and you get 3,000 people. You don't even need 1% of them to be an idiot to get one idiot. you can get a fraction of a percentage, and you get one idiot. And I really want the fans to show Mickey, to show the team some love. Yes, they're not performing as well as they can, but we need to move forwards. The club only gets better if we all move forwards together as a football club. And it's helped if we show them some support. I won't be there to help that, unfortunately, but
no, you're on here instead showing your support this way. But guys, this is where you need to go. Get over to Jess and the girls over there. Say it's a THFC Till We Die raid. So get over there. But guys, thank you all for watching. Spurs tomorrow. We better be on our way to Wembley. Come on, you Spurs.
Eyes on the